Don Lemon got fired again already. He fired before he really got hired. It's very, very hard for Don Lemon to keep a job, and we know why. He got, amazingly, Elon Musk offered him a deal to post a new show on X. And Elon Musk is a risk taker, so I guess he thought this would be a fun risk, just as risky, I guess, as like putting spaceships into outer space, because it really was just that risky, Elon. He probably just thought, oh, he's like a left-wing commentator. I doubt Elon spent his time watching CNN primetime, because literally only 2 people did. And so he decided to give him a deal. At the same time, speaking of Tulsi Gabbard, he gave her a show on X, and I think a couple of others. He's trying to make X a platform where, you know, you have voices like Tucker from the right, you have voices like Lemon on the left, and it's a forum for everybody. Well, okay. I will give it to Bill O'Reilly, who I saw a clip of him this morning saying, don't interview your boss. That is the lesson that came out of this hot mess of exchange between Don and Elon, because Elon gave Don an interview to launch on his first show. And I will say Don Lemon behaved like an asshole who was not grateful to Elon Musk for resurrecting his career. And O'Reilly's right. It's very hard for Don Lemon in this position to both be a good journalist and be a good employee. You know, the man's paying your salary. So you do owe him a level of respect and discretion. And at the same time, you want to prove to us in your first interview back how hard-hitting you are. And those 2 goals are not aligned. So I don't blame Elon for being mad at the way he was treated, which now Don is admitting it didn't end well, and Elon was pissed off when it ended. And reportedly, Kara Swisher reporting that when it was over, Elon texted a company, a colleague, saying, contract canceled. And that's how Don's new show got canceled. It's not, the show's not canceled. It can still air on X. It can air wherever he wants it to air. I can air my show on X now. You guys can air your show on X. But he's not going to get paid by Elon for it. And reportedly, there was no written contract. So even though, of course, Don Lemon, through his spokesperson, who's the same woman Jeff Zucker was having an affair with, Allison Gallus, is threatening to sue. All our old favorites are involved in this one, fellas. Okay? Knock 3 times. That's the woman. Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want. That was the greatest Ruthless program ever. That was the woman above Jeff Zucker when he lived with his family, and they got fired because they were having an affair and all the stuff. And now that woman's representing Don Lemon as a spokesman, threatening to sue Elon. Our entire worlds have come together. And I will show you a little bit of what got Don Lemon fired this time. I'll just give you one example. Here he is accusing Musk of allowing hate speech on X in SOT 4.
Hate speech on the platform is up. Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Democrats?
I don't have to answer these questions.
The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think, do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm criticized constantly. I could care less.
Oh man, that guy is so great. Wow. Don Lemon's problem is not that he's too much of a journalist. It's that he's too unfailingly partisan. He never did this with Jeff Zucker, but he has one chance to talk to Elon Musk and he jumps ugly on the guy. I cannot believe he did that. It's the dumbest possible thing that anybody could do. I mean, there's a lot to like about Elon Musk, other than the fact that he won't sell an internal combustion engine. There is a lot to like about it. I think that the guy's built a great platform, and why not ask him about that? Like, why go into your partisan talking
The place
point?
that just resurrected your career. The man who just resurrected your career. Show some gratitude. Ask him about how amazing X is doing and how it's thriving, notwithstanding all the doomsday predictions and whatever happened to loser threads over on Facebook. Elon's having a moment, but not in Don's life, in his world, even though he just got this great opportunity.
Right. It's not journalism. It's narcissism. Like the guy can't help himself.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's crazy.
Wait, let me just give you one other. We have a bunch to go through because, of course, we love the story. Here's Don on CNN. He goes back to CNN, the other place that just fired him, and gives an interview about this guy firing him with Aaron Burnett and explains why he felt the need to do that to Elon in that question. Watch this.
He doesn't understand that sort of rhetoric that he talks about, the Great Replacement Theory and migrant invasion. That's what radicalized shooters use in their manifestos, those exact words. The people who go and shoot up people, whether they be Latino people who live in Texas or black people who are in a supermarket in Buffalo or Jewish people who are worshiping, those people use the same rhetoric. As someone who has one of the largest social media and information platforms, and it doesn't seem that he feels that he has any responsibility with that because he seemed really averse to facts.
Oh my God. Yeah. He seemed averse to facts.
Yeah. This platform paying me all this money sucks. Tune into my show on this platform. It makes no sense. I don't get it. I do wonder if maybe this is Don Lemon's long game. Like he was a double agent this whole time. He's going in there to get a show on X just so he can,
blow it up,
burn the place down. And he goes back.
I really think you're overestimating his intelligence.
I feel like that might be right. I feel like that might be.
Yeah.
So, okay, it wasn't enough to say you're basically a racist and you allow racism, you foment racism, which is how he began it. But he also got around to, and you're a druggie and probably irresponsible and maybe not somebody stockholders want to invest with. Here's how he set that up, and then I'll give you the soundbite of him explaining that one on his other fired network, CNN. Let's run SOT 6.
You talk about your ketamine use and depression. You also have said, and
the reason I should say, the reason I mentioned the ketamine prescription on the X platform was because I thought maybe this is something that could help other people. That's why I mentioned it. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I would say if someone has depression issues, they should consider talking to their doctor about ketamine instead of SSRIs.
Okay, now here's Don explaining why he thought it was important to bring that up in his limited time that Elon Musk, who doesn't give a lot of interviews, granted him. He decided to go to ketamine and depression with Elon, and this is why. Watch SOT 7.
It's no secret. His drug use, or alleged drug use, I should say, has been extensively written about it by very credible news organizations like the Wall Street Journal. And I asked him that, and he said, listen, I have not read the Wall Street Journal. I don't read the Wall Street Journal. If I don't have time to read about everything that people write about me, I would never get anything done. Elon Musk is responsible for satellites, for Starlink. He's responsible for Tesla. He's responsible for a number of different companies in the stock market.
Yep.
And I think that it is important for people to understand his mindset, whether he's using drugs legally or not, but ones that he's supposed to be, that he is using prescription-wise, that he's following a doctor's orders under that.
Is that for real? Is that for real?
You're dangerous.
About the prescription.
Oh, right. You foment racism. You're a druggie who's running all these big companies, and I want to see your prescription. And he doesn't understand why Elon was like, it's over.
I mean, it's just amazing. Okay, and now on to your womanizing. You know what I mean? Like, what? That is just a broadside attack.
Right.
I mean, and also he tries saying that he's like rooted in facts, and he says, he's got several stocks, public stocks that he's in control of. And I think his shareholders should be concerned. Maybe you should talk to one of the shareholders. Over 10 years, every dollar you put in Tesla is worth $2,000. Yeah. I mean, I think they're over the moon about that performance. If it's due
I think the shareholders are
want
more concerned about the fact that he tried to hire Don Lemon than anything they heard in this interview. So
that's a real lack of judgment.
Of course, then he goes out, and now Don Lemon's biggest takeaway from all of this is that Elon Musk is not for free speech, that he's a fake free speech warrior because he's no longer wanting to give Don millions of dollars. Don Lemon can still post on X. He can still post as a podcast wherever he wants to post. But because Elon no longer wants to give him millions, Don is mad. Here's a little bit of that on CNN on SOT 9.
During the course of that interview, I never raised my voice. I told him, I think this is important for people to hear, especially considering how the type of discourse that we're having in the country right now. And he supposedly says this is a public square for all. Maybe we're learning that a public square should not be privately owned by someone who doesn't think that there should be any moderation on that platform. And I could tell that he was upset, and he was uncomfortable. It was tense, and I said, listen, I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, I would go and have a beer and hash these things out. You and I do not agree on much, but I will fight for your right to be able to say what you want to say. That's what freedom of speech means to me. Freedom of speech does not mean, I guess, the same thing to him as it does to me.
What?
he's delusional.
Don Lemon, free speech champion. That's a new one.
Who's got the drug problem? I don't know. Like that, you could find that.
It's a joke.
Yeah, we're joking. Allegedly, we're laughing.
It's unbelievable, though. So first of all, he didn't lose any freedom of speech whatsoever. Absolutely none. He will be seen by the same 4 viewers now as he would have before Elon said, I'm not giving you millions. By the way, reportedly, he just got like a $25 million payout from CNN for that firing. They paid him out his deal rather than have a litigation with him. Then Elon reportedly cut him a multi-million-dollar deal, which he fucked up right before he even launched the show. And now he's claiming that it's free speech. You're not the victim. You're not the victim. You're not a victim in any way. And yet he continues to escape consequences. Like CNN says, okay, you're fired because you turn out to be a misogynist in our view. And he runs and plays the victim there. Now this happens. I've been victimized again. He doesn't like diverse people. He said twice. He claimed he wanted something more diverse, but I guess somebody like diverse like me isn't what he wanted. We know what that's code for. And he's reveling once again, Ashbrook, in poor me and my millions.
But Megyn, he didn't raise his voice.
Yeah, that's the important thing to focus on.
Stuck to discourse. And if Elon doesn't like it, then he should give his platform to the public, i.e. Don Lemon.
Yeah, he should just give it to Don Lemon. Just give it to him. And Tesla wise.
You caught that, right? Where he was like, maybe this person shouldn't be owning such a platform.
Yeah, in the same breath that he's like, well, I fight for his right to do it. It's like, well, actually, you're kind of fighting for his right to take it away. Right? I mean,
and I'd love to have a beer with you. I think you're a racist and a druggie, and you foment mass shootings, and you shouldn't own this platform. Let's go have a beer. Financial experts thought we were in the clear. They were anticipating around 6 rate cuts by the Fed this year, and then the inflation data came out. Did you see the latest? Higher than expected. This is obviously not going away. How can it? The U.S. is $34 trillion in the hole. Oh. And yet we just keep on printing money, which pushes the prices you pay every day even higher. So you can either bury your head in the sand or you can do something about it. One option to consider is to diversify a portion of your savings into gold with Birch Gold Group. Gold can be your hedge against inflation, you see, and Birch Gold makes it easy to own. They will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold, and you don't pay a penny out of pocket. Text Megyn, M-E-G-Y-N, to 989898. and get your free info kit on gold. And then speak with a precious metals specialist about how you can choose to protect your savings from persistent inflation with gold. Text Megyn to 989898 now. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.